Good evening, Fernwood. It is your whispering wastrel Neil, and it's time for us to get wistful with another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. We're watching episode 291 from May 16th, 1977. We are at T-minus 7 weeks to the entire end of the series. Last week, we spent a lot of time laying the groundwork for what appears to be the end run of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. So I think we should look back. The week started with the revelation that Wanda Jeter was with Drexel Johnson, who we might otherwise know as Dewey, on the night that he died, and she can corroborate that Tom Hartman didn't murder him. This led to Vernon Bales and Tex revealing all of their mischief, but before Sergeant Foley could arrest them, they attempted to run and got blown up by a grenade in the process. There is no more glorious guardians of good. The GGG are gone, and Tex and Vernon's widows have come to claim what's left of their bodies. Tom Hartman finally came home after weeks in jail, and Mary immediately wanted to get frisky with him. But Tom seemed more interested in grabbing some beers with the guys. He has completely fallen off of the wagon. He came home after drinking at the Capri Lounge, and he and Mary started to make love, but that was interrupted when Mary mentioned that Dennis Foley had been giving her phone calls to let Mary know how Tom was doing in jail. Among the wedges that have been happening in the Hartman home, Heather has been gathering the blood of the family members because she believes that Mary and she cannot possibly be related. Next door at the Haggers, Loretta and Charlie have been doing their best to take care of their new wild child boy, Johnny Doe. They've been informed by Ms. Finken that he has to be enrolled in school or he will be taken away. However, as young JD becomes more and more civilized, he also grows more and more despondent. And when it comes to the last homes on the block, Martha Shumway has been making kissy faces with Max Slattery. George Shumway has been distracting himself from missing Martha by trying to design some great invention. Kathy was interrupted by a strange woman who entered the Shumway home. She calls herself Standing Cow, and she believes that she is there for the end of her life. And speaking of Standing Cow, last Friday started with her at the Shumway home preparing for some kind of ritual. Grandpa Larkin is grateful to have someone new in the home to provide company, but Kathy thinks it's very strange that Standing Cow wants to go to the Happy Hunting Ground. Raymond and Standing Cow continue the checkers game that they started earlier, which doesn't seem to follow conventional rules. And the woman starts to feel that her death is coming. But George walks in, and he just wants this oddball woman out of their house. Nearby at the Haggers' home, Loretta and Charlie are tending to their sad little boy, JD. The doctor shows up and hears the howling of Standing Cow nearby and believes that it's a wolf. And he also notes that JD is depressed. The adults get their attention drawn to the wall where Johnny Doe is drawing on the wall, and this means to the doctor that he probably isn't developmentally disabled. However, he's still going to be depressed for the rest of his life. Merle Jeter sat thoughtfully in the newly decorated Jeter home. He wonders how to make himself more popular for his upcoming presidential campaign. Wanda Jeter is surprised, however, that his idea is to call his mother and invite her to live with them. And then finally, at the Capri Lounge, Dennis Foley was waiting anxiously for a very special woman to arrive. That woman is Mary Hartman, who showed up incognito and tried to sneak over to Dennis because she doesn't want anyone to see them together. Then Dennis's parents show up at the bar, and that's who he intended for Mary to meet. They take a liking to Mary since he has described her so gorgeously to them, and Mary Hartman finishes her Virgin Mary quite awkwardly. As I mentioned last week, seemed to be the ground floor for what's coming for, I guess, the rest of the series. Well, here's the next part.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman! Come on, Mother. Kathy, now wait. Wait, are you sure your daddy isn't here?
I am sure Daddy is not here. It's only Grandpa and Standing Cow. Now, I hope we're not late. Now. Oh, Grandpa, when did she go?
She's not gone anywhere yet. The Great Spirit told her it was just an attack of indigestion.
Indigestion? Kathy, why is that woman on my kitchen table?
It's her chosen place to die.
Well, why did she choose to die on my kitchen table? Would you please get off my table?
Will you please be quiet? It's the least you can do for a dying woman.
Well, I'd like for you to get off my table.
Well, I will not. I intend to die here.
Why?
Because it's the nearest place to Marquette Rock. And as an adopted Choctaw, it's where I should die.
Kathy, are you sure that all this is just not a way of getting me to see your daddy again? That woman doesn't look sick to me.
Look, that would be a cheap trick. And besides, I know that you'll come to your senses and you'll be home soon.
Please, be quiet.
If you two girls are going to fight, go inside. Esther,
Standing Cow.
Standing Cow wants quiet.
Oh.
Okay, come and get it. Dr. Jekyll is treating. Well, look who's here. I knew you'd come crawling home. I knew you'd get your senses and dump that big food dump and come on home. You know something? You're lucky I kept my distance from all those women when you were gone.
I did not dump Mac.
Oh. Well, then, he ditched you, huh? Well, that doesn't surprise me. I always wondered what there was between you and him.
No, he did not ditch me, and I am not coming back to you. The only reason I am here is because Kathy dragged me here to see her.
You mean you're not coming home to stay?
Sorry, Daddy.
Well, what has Mike Slattery got that I haven't got?
Besides sex appeal?
Mac needs me and is lonely without me.
I am too.
Well, if you are, it's only because you can't find anybody to put up with you.
Oh, really? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Things weren't too bad, hardy, har.
Oh, don't kid yourself.
Oh, I trekked many miles to find peace, not to listen to domestic bickering. I could have had that at home. My daughter wrote her master thesis on bickering.
Excuse us, Standing Cow. You ask her nicely.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Martha, will you please come home?
I don't know, George. I'll have to think about it.
Well, I'm not going to beg you anymore. I'm going to go back to my inventing. Once you get to your senses, you can come back and maybe I'll listen to you.
You are Martha Shumway, daughter of Billy Twelvetrees, the last of the Choctaw renegades.
Now, you know who I am. Who are you?
Well, I'm Standing Cow, nay Esther Schneider. I wanted to die near the home of my chosen people. I did a lot of research, and the subtribe of Choctaws, from whom you are descended, is the family that I chose. That means that Marquette Rock is my homeland, and you are my cousin.
Oh, welcome home, Cousin Esther.
Oh, I knew I could count on your hospitality.
Should I call someone and start making the funeral arrangements?
I could let her have my discount.
Oh, no. No, I'm simply to be buried in the ancient Choctaw burial grounds.
Where's that?
In your backyard?
Hey, now wait a minute, little pinto. Phony Indian talk with silly tongue. Nobody be buried in our backyard.
That is the official, historical, landmark Indian burial ground out there. And Mrs. Snyder here, Esther.
Standing cow.
A standing cow is an official, adopted Choctaw.
Entitled to all the rights and privileges of an official Choctaw funeral.
Oh, you'll be so comfy out there amongst all those azaleas. And later we'll just plant them all around you.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, don't pay any attention to him, standing cow. He's just a temperamental white eyes. Now, you were telling me about your funeral.
Be sure my daughter-in-law knows all about this. It will kill her.
Oh.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Foley. How are you?
Fine.
Good.
Do you know that Dennis tells me you make the best cup of coffee in Ohio?
Oh, did he say that?
He certainly did.
Oh, well, he was probably exaggerating. He is so sweet. He really is. Well, anyway, it may not be the best cup of coffee, but it's probably the cheapest.
What exactly are you doing?
This? Oh, we'll sit down. You know how sometimes when you have tea, you get like 2 cups of tea out of 1 tea bag? You know? Yeah, especially the flow-through kind.
Well, we usually brew our tea with loose leaves. But of course, I have seen a teacup before. A tea bag. A tea bag.
Tea
before.
bag,
Yes.
yeah. Well, you see, what I'm doing is I'm filling these little bags here. I'm filling them with coffee. See, what I figure is, wouldn't it be wonderful and cheap if I could get 2 cups of coffee out of 1 spoonful?
You mean you're reusing the grounds?
Recycling them. Reusing them, yes, I'm reusing them.
That's nice. Well, I suppose we'll just have to go down to Brazil if we want a good, inexpensive cup of coffee ever again. Oh, Mary, listen, would you love Rio?
Oh, I just noticed. You always carry your own coffee cup with you when you go visiting?
Oh, this? No, you see, I just came over to borrow some flour. I'm baking for Fred and Dennis. I'm baking a cake.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I just love to bake cakes. I really do. I mean, Sarah Lee, Betty Crocker, I mean, you name her, I bake her.
Well, what a clever homemaker you are. I wish my Dennis could find a girl like you. Do you know that he thinks you're 1 in a million, Mary?
No.
Oh, yes. He's told us all about you.
No.
We're a very close family.
Oh. Speaking of families, did he happen to mention, that I have a family?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. No, he doesn't keep anything from his parents.
Nothing?
No. For instance, he did tell us about that beautiful experience you and he shared last year. Oh, Mary. It changed Dennis's life.
More coffee? I think you have another cup in your bag there.
No, thank you. I'm fine. But what about you, Mary? Are you happier now?
Happy? Oh, yeah, I'm happy, but, I'm the happy type, so...
And, your marriage is better?
Oh, always was. It always was. Just a fine marriage.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. A little, affair can be good for anybody. Just ask anybody in Fernwood.
Really?
Did Dennis happen to mention to you that Tom and I have this, beautiful, normal teenage daughter who just this week is going through her claiming I'm not her mother's stage? I mean, that's really a fun one.
Really?
Yeah, and Tom, he just takes such good care of us, and he has such an important, responsible job.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he is one of the best dome light screwer inners in the entire automotive industry, and I think that the only thing he likes more than, rushing off to work in the morning is, rushing back home at night. Yeah, oh, and here he is now. Here he is.
How are you?
Fine. Oh, I'm sorry. This is, I got a little lost. This is Mrs. Iona.
Oh, hi.
Well, I'm very pleased to meet you, Tom.
Yeah, she's from out of town.
Mary's just been telling me what a wonderful husband you are.
Yeah, well, I gotta clean up, I just been putting some flowers on Coach Fetter's grave, And then I stopped off after that. Before that, really, played some handball.
Oh, really? Oh, great. I'm a real jock myself. I've got a wicked serve. Oh, my husband and my son and I were just sports crazy, so maybe we could all get together and for a game of something.
Yeah, we could go, we could all go bowling at the Capri, your son's really lucky to have folks who like to play with him,
Well, Fred, that's my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Fred and I, we've always tried to share things with Dennis.
Oh, she's, Dennis's...
Dennis? As in Dennis Foley?
Yes, that's my little boy.
Yeah, that's his mommy.
Yeah, excuse me, Mrs. Foley.
Well, he certainly is a fine man.
Really? Oh, would you like some more coffee? I have a feeling we can get 3 cups out of this bag.
No, thank you. I'd better run along. Oh.
There you are. Come on, Mom. We have a tennis match. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
So, how's my partner? How's my mom?
Oh, your mom is terrific.
I could have told you that. Mwah.
Hi, Dennis. Smile. Come on.
Hello, dear. You must be Mary's daughter.
No, I'm not. Sergeant Foley, look at my new camera.
That's terrific. Heather, would you take a picture of me and my mom?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Can I take a picture of you and your mom?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I find her.
She's such a delight.
Well, now I've met your whole family, Mary. And I can certainly see you have your hands full. And yet you still find the time to make Dennis and his father and me feel welcome. Oh, Dennis is very lucky.
I guess we're all very lucky.
Honey, we got enough corn on the cob here for them gentlemen of the press?
Would I let the Fourth Estate starve? It's in the microwave oven, hon.
You know what I was thinking is maybe we put them on these coals. It might look a lot better. And then, of course, we got that safety factor involved too.
Oh, yeah. Well, don't worry. After they hear your announcement, it won't make any difference.
Yeah, I hope so anyway. Okay, let's see. We start with I just announced that I ain't a candidate for president in 1980.
Yeah.
Then Miss Adeline will take care of the image issue there. What else? Hey, where is she anyway? She could have walked from the bus depot by now.
You know, Merle, maybe you should have picked her up.
No. She don't want to be pampered just because she's old. Besides that, if I know her, she'll have a great big suitcase or something.
Oh.
I'd really like the public to get a shot of her walking along the sidewalk just carrying that thing all by herself. You know what I mean?
Merle, I really got to hand it to you. When you're right, you're right.
Well, I think this new style is a stroke of genius on my part. We got the country talk, clothes, and furniture and all this. And how about the office down at the gas station?
Oh, well.
Are you kidding me? Now, I think we're going to really grab these grassroots people right where they live.
Yeah, and what's more, we're going to grab their vote.
Right. Well, Miss Adeline will see to that. It's funny, Wanda. I think the thing I enjoy most about this whole thing is that my mom is going to be America's mom.
Oh, Merle. He told me about her.
Oh, Wanda, I can't remember a thing about her. When I last saw her, I was just a little shaver, but... Well, actually, I do remember she could sing the heck out of that there Rock of Ages. She sounded like one of the Lennon sisters,
Wonderful.
Could be.
Could be.
I don't look.
Terrific.
Let me get it. Wait, let me get it.
Well, courage, Merle.
What? Mommy.
Well, let me go and let me in. What the hell is that?
Pig?
Well, I know that. You never was knowed for your brightness, boy, I swear. You call that run a meal? I'll take over the cooking in just a minute as soon as I get my breath. Oh! I could sure use a drink. I said I could sure use a drink.
Excuse me. How about a lemonade?
Bourbon, rocks. Lemonade will do for a chaser.
You got it. Bourbon lemon.
This is going to be America's beloved mother. Well, she may get the Hells Angels vote, but that's about it.
I think we got a little problem here.
Yeah,
Press is going to be here in a couple of minutes. They come up with something here. Here you go, Mom. There you go. Down the hatch. Listen, Mom, got a little idea here. It won't involve me in any way, but suppose Wanda just takes you right back down to the bus depot and buys you a ticket to anywhere you want outside Ohio. How would that be?
Anywhere. Not funny, Merle. Like usual, not funny. Your stuff is swell.
Oh, I'll bet you'd like to freshen up. So how about us girls going in the powder room and getting to know each other?
There you go.
Oh, say, you got any of that under the arm deodorant? I must smell like the dickens. You want to open that door? Sure. Thank you.
Hey, Judd, how you doing there, man? How are you? Come on in there. Cameraman, come on, step in. How you doing there?
Pretty good. I understand you got a hot story for us.
Oh, I think so. It's been about, Hey, wait a minute. What we got there, workout time? Are you kidding me, man? That's unbelievable. And look at that suit. What, was that tailor-made or what?
No.
That looks terrific, man, really. And cameraman, you... Where do you want me now? You want right around the plate here or something?
How about in the rocker there?
Good.
You get over there and shoot this way.
Great.
I believe you said your mom was going to be here.
Did? Yeah. Unfortunately, though, I tell you, she couldn't make it, Judd. Something come up, and that's the way that goes. You know how that goes anyway.
How about Mrs. Jeter? I'd love to get a shot of the two of you side by side in your rockers.
Great. Yeah, right here. That'd be beautiful. Yeah, we ought to do that sometime. Today is not the right time, I tell you, because she's a little bit involved in that spring cleaning that closet back there, but sometime we ought to get around to that. Judd, come to think about it, have you even met Wanda?
No.
She's a wonderful woman, I tell you. Oh, that's SWAT reruns.
I don't want to take a nap. Besides, how can you take a nap with all this racket going on here? Merle Jeter, you ain't got the manners of a 6-week-old mongrel. I spent 3 days getting here, and so far I ain't been offered a bite of food.
Well...
Of course, it don't surprise me none. You always was an inconsiderate son of a...
Mommy.
Is this Mom?
That's Mom, all right. This is Judd here. Yeah, she's, slipped a little bit, so some of what she says doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense, but...
Don't slobber on me, boy.
Got me right in the neck.
Shoot.
Adam's apple. Thank you.
Merle, I guess it's now or never, huh?
What do you mean?
Announcement.
Oh, yeah, listen, why don't you guys just sit down over there, and I'll tell you folks what I asked you to come over here for, okay, Judd? Sit down, Wanda. Well, Judd, Cameron, it's about the 1980 presidential election. I've decided not to be a candidate.
Merle'd make a good president. He's a born liar, and he'd be the first one to admit it.
Oh, gosh.
Look at them. They're eating it up like Colonel Sanders.
I know.
She's blunt, abrasive, hard-nosed, crude, and offensive. In short, the perfect image for the president's mother.
Shut up a minute, Wanda.
Okay.
Well, to conclude here, friends, let me just promise the public that I'm not going to take advantage of my popularity here with some kind of massive campaign with slogans and gimmicks and games going on. I'm just going to remain plain Merle Jeter.
I think that's what America needs in the White House, a crook they can trust.
Yeah, that's where we are starting. So we have standing cow Esther Schneider in the Shumway home, and Kathy brings Martha over. I don't know exactly why Martha needs to be there, perhaps to help motivate standing cow to stand up and get out, but it turns into a bit of a reunion between George and Martha, and George does really miss Martha. He did make some phone calls to some women, which have all gone very badly, but I honestly believe that he does miss Martha. He doesn't treat her very well. He probably could learn to treat her better, but he does miss her. And I'm not sure exactly how this resolves, because Martha put up with George doing the same behavior for so long, which doesn't forgive it. But, while I was watching the show, I kind of just felt like, oh, she likes this. And then all of a sudden she doesn't. Maybe that's how it is in real life. And I don't know. I haven't been with someone for 30 years. I haven't had that long of a relationship. So I couldn't tell you if your feelings change or if you put up with stuff and the dam breaks. Maybe that's what that is with Martha. She's not coming home. She has enough in the outside world. Not only that, she and Standing Cow seem to have connected on the Billy 12 Trees level. I had mentioned Billy 12 Trees last Friday as Martha's birth mother, so apparently Standing Cow does have some connection to Martha. And in this case, we find out that they're cousins. I'm a little bit surprised because I don't know exactly how they're blood related, but apparently they are. George has been working on his bug gun, which goes as comically as one would expect. I love to see George get a bunch of foam in the face. And apparently Standing Cow, or Esther Schneider, whichever name is most appropriate, is looking to make some kind of reaction in her daughter-in-law's life. So I suppose we'll be meeting that character sometime soon. In any case, the Shumways have an extra body in their home. Ugh. And then Mary is making coffee, or preparing to make coffee by filling up tea bags. I believe that that's an actual product you can buy now. I don't drink coffee very often, so I don't know, but I believe I've seen bags full of coffee. Coffee is pretty different than it was in the 1970s, or at least as I remember it, when, everything was kind of instant and that was okay. However, she gets a visit from Mrs. Foley. It really feels odd to me, the interaction between Mrs. Foley, I don't remember her first name. Mrs. Foley is really pushing hard to get Mary to be with Dennis. At least that's how it felt like to me. And seems to not have that much respect for Mary's current life. That Mary is married to Tom, who she loves, and she is a mother to Heather, who maybe doesn't love Mary back as much as she could, but she's still a mother. And it feels like Mrs. Foley is she has that vibe that says, that's not good enough for you, which might be an honest emotional response to seeing what she sees. She meets Tom and Heather, but it almost felt like she was writing them off and that Mary could be doing much better by being with Dennis. That's not stated verbally, it's just a vibe that I picked up on. Also, Mrs. Foley is wearing a tennis dress and is met by Dennis in his tennis outfit, and that makes her come off as a bit upper middle class, perhaps, compared to Mary's decidedly middle class life. It sort of seems like Mary is being presented with an aspirational view. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that, because we saw at the end of season 1 that Mary had dreams for what her life would look like, and when Tom started working toward that, when in the start of season 2, when Tom started to get a better paying job, that wasn't the answer to her happiness either. So for her to aspire to an entirely different life, I mean, I don't know that there's an answer to her happiness in that. However, that seems to be the question that is being put in front of Mary right now. If her life with Tom and Heather could be inferior to a life with Dennis. It seems like a really odd exchange coming from Mrs. Foley in this case. So, I don't know. It's clear to me that Mary, before this episode, very much loves Tom and isn't interested in Dennis at this point. She had really good chemistry with him at one point. They definitely had an affair, and Mrs. Foley knows that. But it really feels like those lives, that potential of Mary with Tom, or the potential of Mary with Dennis, is being put in comparison right now. And then we're with the Jeters, who are worried that Mrs. Jeter, Adeline, is going to not like being there, maybe make a bad impression with the voters. And Adeline shows up and she is ornery. She just is not at all what I would have expected. She complains about everything. She pushes folks around. She's rash and abrasive. Merle and Wanda put up with it. And then they try to hide her away before the TV crews show up. And Merle looks to do the interview solo until Adeline pushes herself out into the foreground again. And apparently she is the choice that people will like because she just does what she wants. And she's mean to people. I suppose there are voters who will vote for that. Perhaps this is prescient, but also kind of gross. So everyone, that is the start of T-minus 7 weeks to the end of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thank you so much for watching with me. Thank you so much for leaving your thoughts, feelings, and impressions down in the comments. Thank you for getting wistful with me, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.